Earnestly podcast here. How you guys doing? Recording this late Thursday night, early Friday morning. I actually decided to do this last minute because I don't know, I fell asleep, and just when I fell asleep, my wife wakes me up. Well, first of all, I had to go walk my dog first at about 11 o'clock, whatever. Get out the house, walk the dog quickly, to him to do his stuff, pee and poop. Got back in the house, and then all of a sudden, my wife calls me from work. And I was just really tired, but talked anyway for a little bit. By the way, Amazon really fucked me today. Real quick, I love Amazon Prime, but I need to keep an eye on my kid. my 6-year-old. So I'm in my room. I'm actually recording a podcast earlier today. And while I'm recording a podcast, my kid decides to buy a Star Wars movie on digital. And I noticed that because he comes in the room and tells me this. He goes, "Hey, Daddy, I bought a Star Wars movie, the first Star Wars movie, The Phantom Menace, on the Roku stick." So I'm like, "Oh, okay. Interesting. Did you really buy it?" He's like, "Yeah." So I checked my bank account, and sure enough, the kid charges $17.99 to my account. First of all, without asking me, I wasn't upset at the fact that he bought the movie. I was upset at the fact that he just did without asking me. So of course I was really pissed off. So I called Amazon to correct the problem, to which they did now tell me that for them to reverse the charges, they need me to buy a PlayStation gift card. Okay, this was weird as fuck. You think Amazon, a big company as they are worldwide, can just put a stop to the payment and just end the whole shit? No, they gotta send me to something where the only way they can verify that I'm on the account is if they do a dummy charge on my account for a PlayStation card. Which, by the way, this is all legit because this is emails going back and forth. This is actually being emailed through Amazon. They got to charge $75 to a dummy account, and then they reverse the entire $17.99 plus the $75 they just charge a dummy account. They said it'd be done within 5 minutes. So I, like a fucking fool, I did it. Went ahead and did it. All right, and I wait 5, 10, 15 minutes. No charges returned to my account. I wait another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. No count. No charge back to my account. And then 4 hours, and then another hour. I'm like, okay, well, this is stupid. So my wife calls me. She tells me I have to fix the problem. I go, no, there's a still issue. She goes, you need to call Amazon. So I call Amazon again. And it's a lady calling the phone, and she starts saying that, well, basically your account is not verified because there's actually multiple people coming on your account allegedly trying to charge your account, and there's people in Illinois trying to charge your account. Like fucking Illinois. I don't know anybody in Illinois. I have no idea who lives in Illinois. So basically she says, well, for this to get fixed, you need to go to a store that has cards, that has a Google Play card, buy it, put $200 on the account, on the card, then call us, and then once we be able to do that, you can actually we refund you now the $293 to my account. I'm like, what? I'm like, so basically a $17 error. Well, it wasn't really an error because my son did this, but basically a $17 mistake has somehow turned to a $290-something project. Like, this shit sounds fucking fishy. So I said, I'll call you back tomorrow. So I call my wife back, let her know. My wife's my hero. My wife's the best. She's the absolute fucking best. So I called her back. I told her what was going on. She's like, this is a fraud. No, don't do that shit. Let me call the bank. So she calls the bank, and sure enough, she got a stop to both the $17.99 purchase and the $75 purchase as well too that hit my account. You know how they want to verify shit, but yet have no fucking problem taking my money. Funny how that works, huh? They need to verify the account, but they want to charge my account too in the process. Funny how that works, huh? Funny how that works. So anyway, everything is fine now, except now I gotta get a new card. So I canceled. So we canceled my current card right now, and I'm gonna have to buy a new card. Or not buy a new card, but I have to get a new card from my bank. Which no big deal, because I'd rather have my money in my account. I'll take out cash, whatever. And I'll deal with cash for a while anyway, which is fine because I've been going through this, like, as I said, I've been going through this, trying to the minimalism shit I'm doing now. This, trying to be debt, keep my costs down, whatever. And having cash is actually more effective in that manner than actually, swiping your card all the time. So actually, we're working for the best. But Amazon today really, almost truly fucked me today, and I really am pissed off about it. So just for today, screw your Amazon, and I feel bad because all my anger, I can't. I'm gonna confess this on the on this podcast today. But I'm gonna say it anyway because this is how I am. I'm pretty open when it comes to my life for the most part. When it comes to that kind of stuff, but I was pissed at my son. I yelled at him a little bit today for it. And to be honest, I've been kind of short my kids. I've been kind of short my kids lately. I've been really stressed out. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been really, really stressed out as of late. For a reason, which I don't know why. Because I've been decluttering stuff on my life. I've been really, trying to keep things simple. I mean, I stopped my Facebook, which I'll get to in a second. But I was short my son today for that reason. I feel bad doing that because again, it's my fault. I wasn't paying attention to him. It's my fault. I didn't have the parental controls set on the Amazon account. But again, Amazon's layout ain't that easy. Amazon's layout is actually pretty confusing. Again, $1 billion company, and they have a very shitty layout. But I need to, that's on me to make sure that my Amazon account is secure. It's really on me to do that. And I dropped the ball there. So while I can be pissing my 6-year-old for doing what he did, at the end of the day, he's a child. I'm the adult here. I need to figure out a way to get through to him and whatnot. And I told him, listen, I'm not mad at you that you bought the movie. I'm mad at you that you didn't tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe he could have gotten away for $10 less. Your dad's kind of turned to a cheapskate now. I'm kind of becoming a bit of a cheapskate. So, if you want the movie, fine, but I'll find it for $10 less than you bought it for on Amazon. And again, I'm teaching him now at 6 years old that, money don't grow on trees. We work hard for our money. You have to kind of just, if mommy and daddy say no to something, it's because there's a good reason why we say no to something. I mean, believe me, we'll give you the world if you could, but we can't. We're not poor, but we're certainly ain't rich. So it's one of the things where you live and learn. But Amazon gave me a whirl today. I was stressed today. Really wasn't looking forward to that, to be honest with you, because I was having a decent day for the most part. So that's just that, But yeah, I just kind of teased it there. I guess I go there now. Facebook. I've been off Facebook now for almost a week. Like I said, I think I mentioned that on the last podcast. Last couple of podcasts actually. I recorded with my wife Lauren on Saturday, and then I recorded a Shoot the Shit with Roz and G. Finally I'm really happy got it in finally this week, a podcast this afternoon. I'm kind of missing recording again, man. I know in a couple weeks I've been kind of like, Although last weekend, last week I started getting on a bit of a roll again, but before that, it was kind of dry. 2 weeks not doing a show. All of a sudden now I'm getting 4 shows in 1 week. It's great, Actually 5 now. When you count this one. But it's one of those things where I go through mood swings now lately when it comes to recording. It's weird. But being off Facebook now for 5 days, I stopped my Facebook on Saturday night. Okay. And to be quite honest with you, I don't miss it. Kind of like the incognito effect of that. And another thing also, too, I think I've noticed with Facebook, not having Facebook, what I've noticed for me, where I've been a lot more open. So I kept my Instagram, of course, because, again, I don't consider Instagram to be a time suck. I don't consider Twitter to be a time suck. And also, I find like I can be more free on Twitter with my language, with what I could say. Because while there are people on Twitter I do know, personally, and any people that, that are on Twitter, that I also follow on Facebook, whatever, there's a more sense of looseness I have when I'm on Twitter as opposed to Facebook. And the reason why is this. With Facebook, there's so much people who I'm close to, that are family, close friends, people, and in my case, people who I used to go to church with back in the day, people family who are a little more conservative than I am, even though I'm down the middle when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I'm certainly more looser with the tongue, in my day-to-day life than I am really, on social media, than I am, on Facebook. So with Facebook, I've always held back. Language and certain thoughts that may perceive as controversial, if you will. Twitter, I'm more of an open book, and I find myself being a little more loose with the lip, more free with my content, and just feeling a lot more comfortable on Twitter because I'm not married to Twitter. I'm not tied of people on Twitter the way I am on Facebook, and I'm enjoying it. So Facebook now, as it's recording, it'll be 6 days since actually I deactivated Facebook, but I don't miss it. I really don't miss it. I keep saying that maybe I'll probably go back in a few months when football starts. But truth be told, I really don't see myself going back anytime soon. Like on the Shoot and Shit podcast we just recorded yesterday, for example, G was saying you'll go back, and I told him if I do go back, it may be with my wife as a joint account. And the reason why I say that is because, if I'm going to go back as a joint account, it would be only for the reasons of keeping track of family and very close friends. Because there is still a positive to Facebook. Now, for the record, I didn't stop Facebook because of Facebook. I stopped Facebook because of personal reasons, because of my personal thing. I being a bit, should I say, a little obsessed with social media to some degree. Being obsessed with the fact that I have to be on there all the time. Facebook being the worst of them because I think Facebook is the ultimate time suck. Because not just you keep up with friends of yours or family and friends of yours, but also information, also videos. It was too much. And I found myself going down the track of doing that and not putting more time on my family and my kids. And look, people said, well, what about Facebook? What about the podcast? Are you gonna lose followers now because people who are on Facebook and they may not be on Twitter, and they may not know if you do have a new podcast out, So which I say, well, if that happens, then that's just my fault. But at the end of the day, my mental health is more than clicks. It means more than clicks. So I don't miss it. Right now I don't miss it. So kind of there. So this week, Tuesday rather, but this week was the 10-year anniversary of Michael Jackson's death. Now some of you guys already know. I mean, all of you guys already know. Diehard fan, been a fan for since a child, since I was 2 years old. I've been, his music, his personality has been very woven into my life. Okay. There are a lot of artists who I'm very much into, bands I'm into. I'm a music head, first off. So it's not just Michael, but other artists and bands I'm into heavily. Michael is the cream of the crop. To me, Michael's the biggest of all. But there's other bands I'm also dedicated to as well, too. And again, reflecting on 10 years of his death, knowing, where were you, obviously his death is probably one of those where were you moments, obviously. And, I remember where I was at work, and then I got to work, I heard he was saying that he got into a cardiac arrest, and then a couple hours later he died, and the entire, my job, everybody who was watching it, because I work in a poker room, I'm still there now. And I remember the entire place was being shocked and glued to their TVs, and I remember being just kind of numb the entire day, and then there you go. I go home, and then I get a little more looser. Obviously I'm home with my then girlfriend, now wife, and watching every report. And the first thing that came to mind when he died, I remember, is the first thing that came to mind was what about his kids? Are they okay? Because I knew that, say what you want Michael Jackson, say what you want about all the rumors and the controversies and everything about his face and all the shit you hear left and right. And look, at the end of the day, the guy was a father. So the first thing that came to my mind was, is his kids okay? Because I knew that despite everything goes on with him, truth or not the truth, his kids were his life, his world, and vice versa. So knowing that he had passed, my concern was, is his kids okay? That's my first concern. Fuck the music, fuck everything else. Fuck the concert he was going to. By the way, I was going to go to London to see him as well for This Is It. I planned on seeing him in London at the time. But to me, it was, fuck everything else. Is his kids okay? Because at the end of the day, he's still human. And I remember watching the memorial, which took forever to happen, 12 days later. And, you have all these people giving the testimonies about Michael. Music, and how much he meant as a humanitarian, and all this stuff. And yet, one person was able to humanize Michael Jackson in a way that nobody else in his life ever did. It was his then 11-year-old daughter, Paris Jackson. And I remember her talking and saying, Daddy was the best thing that happened. Daddy was the best thing that happened to her, and he loves him so much. And the entire you could hear a pin drop in the at Staples Center. In my house too, you could hear a pin drop. I remember being so pissed off after that because for all these years, and look, people have many opinions on Michael Jackson then, even now, especially after the Leaving Neverland documentary, which I get to in a second. Got a lot of opinions there that I haven't shared publicly. I remember being pissed off because here it is. People made fun of this guy, and look, some things he did, warranted some of the criticisms. I get it, but not everything. But being pissed off because at the end of the day, it took his daughter, 11 years old, to actually humanize him. It was strange to see that. And he's obviously a huge loss to the music community, of course, and people who do care about him as an artist and even as a person is definitely was a big loss. Now today is a little bit rougher because we're dealing with now 10 years later, he's still controversial, still drawing controversy. Obviously, back in March, we had the HBO documentary Leaving Neverland that came out, that was dropped. And it again brought up the lurid allegations of child molestation. Two boys, two men now, Wade Robson, who was a famed choreographer, James Safechuck, who's, was in a Pepsi commercial, Michael, way back when, a failed child star, should I say, alleged that Michael had molested them, both those guys. And, I'll say this much, and I haven't spoken about this documentary in public because it's something that I've done it on Twitter. I've had opinions on Twitter, but I've never spoken about it on the podcast until now. I'm just gonna be fucking straight up with you guys about this situation. I don't believe the boys. I don't believe those guys. I don't believe them at all. And the reason I don't believe them is this: I followed their case from the time Wade Robson in 2013 said that he was molested by Michael Jackson to now, and then James Safechuck jump into the lawsuit as well too. People don't realize that this is the version they're showing, the version they're saying about what happened to them on the documentary is their fourth version, third or fourth version. I can't remember exactly. They've now had multiple versions of their story because they've had lawsuits that have been thrown out in court between 2013 and now. There's still an appeal right now, pending on a lawsuit. People say, well, why would they lie about this? There's no money involved in this. What are you talking about? They've sued the estate for over $1 billion. Actually, I'm not sure the number is accurate anymore because it's a little bit less than that, but the number that's put out there was over $1 billion. They've sued the Michael Jackson estate multiple times. In fact, they owe the estate money now as a result of the dropped lawsuits between 2013 and 2016. So to say that there's nothing in it for them, I think is ludicrous. Now, I don't want to be desensitive or not. I don't want to be not sensitive to victims of this kind of stuff. There are people who I'm close to, I won't mention names, who have been molested before. So this is not something I take this very seriously. Obviously, I'm not gonna just jump on this because it's Michael Jackson and therefore I should defend him. No, because I have no problem dropping the artist if I knew Michael Jackson was a child molester. If there was any evidence to suggest a child molester, I would have dropped his ass a long time ago. I was a big R. Kelly fan back in the day. I dropped R. Kelly years ago. I didn't, you remember R. Kelly documentary came out in January? It was like, oh, just cancel R. Kelly, all that. This new, mute R. Kelly movement. Yeah, I was a part of that mute R. Kelly movement 15 years ago because I saw the fucking tape 15 years ago. Because there was actual evidence of R. Kelly, in the act of doing some disgusting shit to a 14-year-old girl. Okay, so. I was on that shit a long time ago. I wasn't all of a sudden I needed more and more and more to see. I know I saw the fucking tape. It's R. Kelly in that tape. Case closed. Let's keep that shit moving, okay? With Michael, there's no evidence at all. In fact, if you dissect into all these cases of Michael Jackson, from the Jordan Chandler charges in 1993 to the Governor Arvizo charges in 2005. By the way, Jordan Chandler wasn't even charged. It was actually just an allegation that was later settled in court because of insurance reasons and because of a stupid law in California at the time where you were able to try a civil case before a criminal case, which has now since changed because of that case. Just for the record, people who don't know research do that. That's what happened because of that case. The Governor Arvizo trial, of course, 05. And then, of course, these allegations now with Wade Robson and James Safechuck. I don't believe them because I've seen there's too much credibility issues especially with these two latest ones. If you follow the tea leaves, you follow all the court documents, if you follow and by the way, guys, it's out there for you to read. It's out there for you to read. There's gross inconsistencies in their stories. Okay, even in the documentary, to me, it's an insult to call it a documentary. It's a fucking movie. Okay, it's a fucking movie full of anecdotes. Okay, so let's get that clear. I've seen the movie. Who's ever seen? Well, you seen the movie? Yeah, fucker. I've seen the movie twice because I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about when I get on here and talk about it here. I don't believe him at all, and I get a feeling one of those guys is going to crack. My money's on James Safechuck that he'll crack. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, so I don't believe him, and that's just that. And it sucks that we're still litigating something that a guy can't even defend himself, and people have done conclusions on something that obviously people have not done research and have not put the work in. I've had conversations with people who I'm tight with who believe that he's guilty, and when I throw information about the fact that this and this happens and this information, it may not be enough. I can only give you the information. It's up to you to actually do what with it. So it sucks. So it's a very tortured legacy because again he's to me arguably the greatest, if not the greatest entertainer in the history of music. But we have these things that we're still bringing up, and again, they're important. But let's also do the research. Trust, but verify. I mean, that's very important. Trust, but verify. And we're not doing that. People are not doing that still. And this Me Too movement now today, it's fucking dangerous. Because the Me Too movement is a good thing. Yes, it is a good thing. But it's also dangerous to just jump into something without logic, without information. Oh, I think he's guilty because I saw a documentary. Yeah, a one-side documentary that had nothing to do, that had no counter arguments at all. Really? Come on now. So, 10 years later, we're still doing this shit. To be honest with you, I've already said, he's better off dead, because, honestly, I couldn't imagine him going through this. Well, first off, I don't know if they have the balls to do this, because, if he was alive and they were trying to do this, he can just sue the living shit out of both these families. That's just me. But again, lots of evidence that suggests that this didn't happen. Safechuck saying that he was molested in a train station that was never built until 2 years after the fact, or 3 after the fact, and whatnot. You know, the mother saying that she was glad he was dead. He died in '09, although she supposedly never found out till years later, which, by the way, is James Hitchcock's words himself in court documents, saying that he didn't tell anybody about his situation, about him being molested by Michael until after Michael died. So how the hell would the mother know? Like, come on. Like, seriously. This is obvious shit. And the thing, I'm not making this up. It's all out there in court documents. This has been all litigated already. Which is part of the reason why this shit fucking got dismissed by a civil court, a civil judge. Like, come on now. Let's go. So, anyway, this is my one and only time I'm discussing this shit. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I go on Twitter, I keep hearing about it. Like, give it a fucking rest. Seriously. If you don't like the guy, don't like the guy. Whatever. But, for God's sake, enough already. Okay? Alright, let's move on. Alright, so, as I said on the podcast a couple weeks ago, started watching WWE for the first time in 17 years. Current product, for the record. And we're now 2.5 weeks into my new experiment. And I got a couple observations. Well, first off, today, the breaking news today, of course, is that Paul Heyman will be taking over creative for Raw. And Mr. Eric Bischoff is back in WWE. He'll be taking over creative for SmackDown. So this may be the opportunity again for Vince and WWE to separate the two brands again. Now, I remember when I stopped watching that they had begun doing that. Don't remember how that went and how that came together again. I know they have this whole wild card rule where a wrestler, I believe, or multiple, I'm not sure, can actually cross shows. Don't know. The impact of this is to me is pretty good. I think it's a good idea because I think you're bringing in two minds that at least can give some fresh ideas. Heyman, obviously from ECW fame. Eric Bischoff was the head of the WCW when they were beating Vince in the ratings in the late 90s. So it's mid late 90s. So it may give this WWE a jolt. This could be a response to the AEW coming, obviously, which has started recently. It has another pay-per-view coming Saturday. I don't know. Maybe Vince see the light because ratings are low for Raw and SmackDown. Attendance has been horrible at the pay-per-views and the shows on TV. So I don't know. But Vince may see the light. I think this is good in my opinion because I think this is an opportunity for the company to get a little jolt. We'll see. Something new, something fresh. But observations so far, 2.5 weeks winning, 2.5 weeks watching so far. Number one, I really enjoy the 24/7 belt. I think it's really right now the most creative thing going for WWE. R-Truth, obviously winning, I think already is an 8-time 24/7 champion. I think it's really cool. I mean, and I might have spoken about this before on this podcast. The social media aspect of it too, which is really cool. You see clips of how the belt changes hands. It's very random. It's really cool. It's good TV. I do like obviously it's good seeing Shane McMahon still getting heat as a heel, but I feel like he's taking Drew McIntyre's heat as well. Drew McIntyre to me is a talented mofo. I think that guy should be main event status, or close main event status. And I feel like Shane is taking heat away from him. Now, I don't know where he was before before Shane got with him, if he was not getting enough heat or whatever, and then maybe Shane attached himself to Shane, maybe actually helped his heat. I don't know. But from what I'm seeing so far, he's taken away from Drew's heat. Drew has a look. Drew McIntyre has a great look. He should be main eventing Raws or SmackDowns and pay-per-views. He's really that good. I really love Becky Lynch, the man. She's great. I mean, her and Seth Rollins obviously being together in real life. Seeing them together, the pay-per-view on Sunday, that was kind of cool. Seeing them on Raw on Monday, that was really cool also too. I love her character. I think she's great. I think she's adorable, personally. Roman Reigns still getting shoved down our throats. Obviously that's been a complaint for many years, but I'm a fan. It does bother me against boos. You still hear boos with Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is a main eventer. I mean, probably because people shove him down, fans, us throats, is why he's not getting respected. I get it. I think he's great. I like Roman Reigns. I love his story. I mean, him coming from leukemia recently. Maybe they won't do this, but maybe it's time to turn him to heel. Maybe it's time to turn him to heel. I don't know. Something to really got to think about. And Samoa Joe is great. I love Samoa Joe. I believe he's wrestling for the Universal title, or WWE title against Kofi Kingston in the next pay-per-view. He attacked him on Raw. That was actually, I know he lost to Ricochet at the pay-per-view Summer Grounds on Sunday, but Samoa Joe's great. I love him. I think he's one of the best talents in and out of the ring in quite a while that I've seen so far at WWE. So far, those are my early observations about, obviously I'm still green with, but I've been watching all the Raws, all SmackDowns. I'm really glad they're going to separate the SmackDowns from Tuesday to Friday. I hate the fact they have Raw and SmackDown back-to-back nights, because I feel like I'm cramming to watch both these shows in the span of in a few days. So I'm glad they're moving SmackDown to Friday nights. It's probably a bad night in general to have it, but for me personally, somebody who does not really go out much anyway, it's good enough for me. Good for me. I can watch on Saturday morning, so no big deal. All right, finally before I go, Democrat debates have started. Actually finished now. There was 2 parts. You had a bunch of candidates on Wednesday. You had a bunch of candidates tonight. Oh, last night when you had this podcast. I didn't watch any of it, although even though I thought I try to watch it. I didn't watch it because every time I try to watch it, my kids, again, they want my attention. And if you're watching political debates, you have to pay attention to the details. And unfortunately, I did not have a chance. And obviously, I can go back and watch it, but probably not going to watch it more than the clips. What I will say has come out of this so far, and look, we're still way early before we can get to, actual caucuses and whatnot. We're months away from that. We're still like a half a year from that. Half a year. But one thing that's come out of this is that there's been some momentum for Kamala Harris. And I'm going based on what I see on Twitter. I'm going based on some of the media publications that I trust are saying as well. There's been some momentum for Kamala Harris. Now, I don't know who I'm voting for. I am certainly not voting for Donald Trump next year. I'm pretty much in that corner, unless there's somebody. No, I don't plan on voting Donald Trump at all. I don't plan on that direction. But I also don't know who I'm voting for on the Democratic side. I do think still that the best shot at being Donald Trump is Joe Biden. I'll say it again, though, and it's already playing out publicly now. Joe Biden's biggest challenge right now is winning the nomination, not winning the general. And while he's leading all these polls, they're just polls. You have so much time between now and to the caucus and everything else to happen before we can really see who are the true frontrunners. Now, right now, you see all the candidates, the Buttigieg of the world, and the Beto's. By the way, Beto has not done shit since he declared. It's like the minute he declared, yeah, he got a big pop in fundraising, but then after that, he hasn't done actually nothing. Has had no impact on this race at all. Now, that may change going forward, but so far, Beto O'Rourke has not done nothing of impactful in this race so far. But again, it's early, so I'm ruling out. But right now, it seems like Kamala Harris got all the momentum so far coming out of these debates. Again, we're ways away. And if I make time this weekend, maybe I'll watch some of the watch the debates. But right now, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. So I had plans with a podcast with my buddy Mark Francois on this, but truth be told, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, and obviously it has to do with time. Maybe we'll go with him a couple of days, talk about it after the fact. But yeah, didn't watch any of the debates, so here's what it is. Before I go, don't forget we're launching. Actually, we did launch. Actually, I'm launching 2 podcasts. One launched today. Actually, waiting for iTunes and other podcast catchers to approve it. But wrestling podcast, Wrestling Retrospective. Me, my buddy Mike Squid, and Joe Lopez. We talk about old wrestling events from yesteryear and review them and give our opinions and of this kind of bring some life into some of these old shows. We did King of the Ring 96 actually for our first show. Our second show will release next week. That'll be King of the Ring 1993. And then we're planning on doing a third show, obviously recording a third show next week, which will be out the week after. So look out for that. So that podcast is out now. You should see it on iTunes probably next 24 hours. It is on YouTube though, on it's the Ernest Christian page, which I'm going to change to Ernest Media soon. It's on my YouTube page. You'll see the podcast when it's on now. Otherwise, just wait until iTunes, Spotify, Google Play all approve it. Okay. Also, the podcast I already announced with my wife. We're launching that next week, July 4th. We're actually recording our first episode over the weekend. That podcast is going to be called That's So Christian. It's based on our last name, of course. So we're launching that show next week, July 4th, hopefully. Like I said, we're recording the first episode this weekend, and then we'll have it out to the world next week. So I'm pretty excited about that. So you have those two shows I'm doing. Actually, the wrestling show, for example, I'm not the host of that, actually. I'm actually part of the show, but I'm part of the panel. I'm actually more a producer on that show. I do all the editing, post-production stuff. So I'm part of that. I'm in charge of that. So, yeah. Besides that, the other show, my wife, That's So Christian, that'll be out next week. Of course, this podcast is going strong. It's funny, I had thought about doing a wrestling podcast on the side to talk about current stuff. I consider asking my friend G.W. Ross, but I figured why do a separate podcast? I just implement that stuff on this show, like I did today, So anyway, that'll be it for today. Next pod, we'll see what happens next. Till next time, love you guys. On Twitter at EJChristian7, Earnestly Media at EarnestlySpeaking.net. Until then, love you guys. Take care, and until next one, later. Thank you.